Hello, I'm Dr. Cheryl, and welcome back to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life by Henry David Thoreau. The Four Agreements: be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best by John Miguel Ruiz. Our show is about the wealth of bridging the gap between personal growth and technology. Our inspiring guests this evening are Jai Hudes, returning for a second time, and Karen Stanwood for the first time. Jai is a serial entrepreneur based in Silicon Valley who has been creating bridges between technology and personal growth since the 80s. As a functional futurist, Jai's life work has been to gamify the game of life, developing innovative ways to use technologies. Karen Stanwood is originally from San Francisco Bay Area, has lived in Canada for 30 plus years, and has recently come back to California as the president of Xperience Technologies. Karen owned and ran a private corporate retreat center for 15 years with wellness and business as the focus. Karen has taken on executive positions in the media, PR, and nonprofit companies. Welcome, Jai, back for the second time, and Karen, welcome.
Well, thank you.
Here you are. I've already done your introduction, but I know you're here to talk about Xperience and HipHapi. So I know the first show we did was quite a while ago, maybe
2 years ago.
Maybe 3 years ago, because we've been doing this for 5 years now. Was about your game. And I love your whole concept
Thank you.
about the spirituality with the game and the learning that happens within that whole context and having fun doing it. Mm-hmm. And I've never played the game, come down and played the game with you.
Not yet.
Not yet. I need to, for sure. I stay in my little bubble here. But anyway, so share about what's happened with the game, and then what your new thing is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us on.
No, thank you for coming all the way from Ben Lomond,
Santa Cruz Mountains.
Santa Cruz. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, it's great to be here and see you again. It's been a while, and a lot has happened, a lot has transpired, and in the world.
Yes.
Also,
Oh my gosh.
Holy cow. Right?
Holy cow is right.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with the tech world.
Yeah, and it's just, again, scratching the surface. There's so much movement, but it's being turned inside out. And for us, that's an opportunity because people are searching more. People are looking for, looking within more, or trying to figure out who they are within all that madness.
Or they're about to wake up.
Or they're about to wake up. So we kind of gearing of having solutions for that. It's not just the millennials, it's all of us.
Of
you know?
course,
It's all of us.
Course.
But,
yeah, especially with who's at the helm of our country.
Yep.
Sorry, we won't get into that.
It's a global
It's
thing.
global.
It's a global thing, and we believe it's more of a universal movement as well.
Oh, absolutely.
And it goes through everything, and so we've recently shifted gears into more community building, using the technology. It's always been that bridge, the technology to influence a positive change in the world. And through ourselves, one person at a time, being able to play the game, coming together as teams, team building and families, so we have tested and worked with that technology for years and decades. And we were recently challenged by one of my partners to bring it into a social network environment. So we're still undercover with it, we're testing, we're in beta with this HipHapi world that we want to create, that we all want to create.
And we all want to be hip,
Yep.
and especially happy.
Yeah, not so haphazard. We want to be HipHapi instead. And so we're building this concept, a site, an application, so an app, and virtual world that will take the best of content, the best of technology, and apply it into an environment where we can be our best, actualize our highest potential, help others to do the same.
And how will you do that?
first phase is through building this web online environment where people can moderate and curate positive content. So instead of just being the wide open web as it is, where do you find, we're basically getting all our results from Facebook and Google telling us where to go down the rabbit hole. So we want to curate positive content. So we're bringing together, we have 12 portals within this HipHapi environment that are representing different aspects of life and how we can have a better world, better society, better us.
So that better us or better society, does that come through the content from outside or from within your portal? How does that happen?
Well, it's coming from individuals who have existing content. That's who we're going for now, is people who've had years of study, research, and they've compiled their content in their particular genre. And then they get to moderate conversation. So it's really about, let's just say you're a new mother and you need to have a little bit more of encouragement because you don't exactly know what you're doing. Well, look how many mothers are out there who can chime in and say, here's what my experience was and here's how I can help you. So it's a solution-based, curating content to help other people to improve their lives and to give the best of ourselves to each other, because we think
so they can go there and get kind of advice or just information.
It's like crowdsource, crowdsourcing. So
Yeah.
it isn't top-down necessarily, it's peer-to-peer.
Okay.
And the analytics, so a lot of technology these days is based on analytics. They're using the analytics to sell us more stuff, right? In Facebook or through Google and AdSense, and all these things are kind of ingrained now into our lives to deliver us more stuff. And so we're taking a different tact with that, of using that powerful machine learning back-end technology to deliver personal growth, to deliver matching when that mother needs help and she's put in some keywords that are part of it, that there might be a solution, that there is a solution out there that can now be matched together, matching, instead of the buyer and seller, matching the person in need with the person who has the information.
So it's really not focusing on the material. Thank God. I mean, that's what my show is about too, is that relationship with wealth. And, of course, wealth covers a lot of territory, but we have to, especially now with what's going on in society, I truly believe that what's happening is because we've focused, and I say we because we're all here as one, focused in on money. And look what's happened. Karma. So what you're doing is cutting edge, I think. Because people are waking up. And it's time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's overtime.
Yeah, I know.
So we're creating the environment to be commercial free on the top level, but if you want to do commerce, we have one place that we're calling the market space.
Yeah.
Curated positive solutions and products that will live inside of this environment, so you still can do marketing, but it's going to be contained, and so it's not this hyped up environment that it's pure content that's being put together.
So how will this be funded?
Well, we have a membership-based program that we're developing. The real, again, that stepstone of having this app, so there's an online environment, but as we know today, we hardly use our computers anymore, right? We're on our phones now.
Oh my gosh.
So the real play is that we're developing this hip app that will see what we're doing and connecting what we're needing and creating this analytics for our life, for our personal growth as we're going along during the day. Right? So that's that's one part of it, and then ending up into this virtual world. So we're very much into virtual reality now, and we don't want to get caught in virtual reality. We know we're going down a slippery slope with that technology because it's so immersive and addictive.
Oh, well, addictive. I had a guy in my car who had to send his daughter to rehab for addiction to her phone. That is like,
So we're going to go into it. A lot of the programs, they're trying to get you addicted to it because that's the result, right? And then they can,
the manipulation.
So we want to reverse it around, that it could be a good environment to globally connect. So it'd be cool that we could be sitting here and all of a sudden you could have a guest from Japan that's now sitting with us here and be able to interact real time, right?
Yeah,
So that's pretty
right,
cool, right?
right,
So there's
right.
good parts to it, and then
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
the more nefarious parts that are kind of playing themselves out. So again, we want to take the best of that technology
Yeah.
and also apply it to specific audiences. So we've focused in, one of our portals is called VIP, which is very important portals. And the three start points for that particular portal is that we're going to work with veterans. So we have a whole veterans group that we're working with,
Yeah.
which obviously with PTSD and different
Yeah,
challenges,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you can use this technology on a really powerful way for them. People with disabilities, right? They're stuck, right? So
Yeah.
now they can be free. I mean, it's so
Right.
powerful. They have a
Oh,
whole other
yeah.
life waiting for them.
Oh,
So we
totally.
want to deliver solutions for them. And the third one that we're launching is around events and Burning Man. I've been into Burning Man for many years, so
I
we're
know
creating
you-
the Burning Man experience and creating like a gallery, because you've never been. A lot of people don't want to go. They think the concept is great, but you have to go to the desert, you have to invest all this time and energy, and it's dusty and all that. So imagine if you could go in virtual reality and see all this beautiful
Oh,
artwork. and
I've seen all of your,
flat, though.
images.
Now
I've
imagine
seen
if
all
you're
of
going
it.
in virtual reality, now you're
Yeah,
there.
right,
And you're looking
right.
up at these incredible
yeah. No,
works of
I
art.
mean, the
and-
art forms are just awesome.
Yeah.
You know, everybody puts so much energy and creative chutzpah in it, you know?
That's a good way of putting it. I've never done it before. That
That's a
was
good way. Yeah.
Just came out. But yeah, I mean, I resist the desert and dryness. I resist.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that I know several people that go every year. So
Yeah. And a
You
lot of
know.
people can't go, but it's not fair.
Yeah.
They should be able to enjoy the
Right.
environment, you know. And
Yeah.
So we want to create solutions around specific target communities, and from that, now we can template that, and virtually any community can actually create their own environment within that world,
Right.
with avatars that actually have meaning, that are more meaningful.
I have seen that 3D image that you had or video that you had.
You did see it.
I
Oh, cool.
did see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I mean, I look at all this stuff.
So that was, again, from a Burning Man event that was happening in Miami last year.
Oh, yeah.
We had a whole team. We have a team there of developers, 3D
Yeah.
developers. And so we created this sphere that was there. It was, imagine a 60-foot ball. They call it the moon sphere. It's all white.
Yeah.
You have to crawl to get inside of it. And so we modeled that in 3D, and we created a first environment for the game. So the game actually lives inside of this moon sphere, which is, we're right now in high fidelity. It's one of the platforms. There are different platforms. That's
You
our
know,
first.
I could see so many techies loving this. But
We
it's
get
like,
great feedback. They've been waiting for it. You know, this.
yeah,
you know, so-
no. I mean, I had the most interesting conversation with a techie yesterday. You know, and I mean, we're on the same wavelength talking about it, because I use technology for everything. I mean, not for everything. I shouldn't say that. But I mean, you know, for work anyway, and for this, and you know, so they're hungry for something. They're
Connection,
hungry.
right? I remember when we
Oh,
did that video. That
It's-
was your.
It's
you know.
all about connection. I'm out talking to people, regular people, techies as well, but just people who are in their homes and they're on their computers and they want to connect and they're doing it through other social networks, but they're not really getting relationships there.
Yeah.
And as an avatar, you can actually go in and almost physically, it's almost tangible, the space that you share together, even as an avatar. You can see facial expressions and body
Right.
movement,
Oh, yeah.
and people are able to get out of their shell. Maybe they're sitting behind their screen, but once they get in there, they're real people and they can contribute and they can talk and they can interact, and that seems to be
Well, it
what's
would certainly
sparking people.
bring it out in people
Yeah.
that are more introverted or.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's a modeling device in that way. So it's not just the models that we create, but you can model good activities and communication. So we want to use it in that
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
Again, you can use it to blow things up, and you know, a lot of the gaming engines are, you know, around that and that usage of that technology, and it's very compelling because it's so real. Like you're in war, right?
Yeah.
These war games that are there, you feel without having to get blown up, you can be blown up or blowing somebody else up, right? And we know the problem is that it affects our brains, right?
Yeah.
The brain doesn't know the difference. So you're having these experiences, and So flip that around. Now let's make a positive environment that we can model inside of us
Yes.
of better activity and
Yes.
connection and all of
I
that.
mean, because I know there's been studies done that a lot of the aggressive behavior is due to watching so many war things, and it's like, oh,
And interacting with it as
yeah,
well. So it's,
oh yeah,
it's
no, it goes in
creating
your
memories
psyche,
for
it
people.
goes in their subconscious.
Exactly.
Hello.
Exactly. So let's bring that subconscious alive in a positive way that we can interact and learn
Yes.
how to work with, our dream world,
Yeah,
right?
and
Because it is such a dream world inside this
Yeah.
virtual space.
right, and activating those dreams like we all have, and making it really happen.
Making it happen.
Making it happen.
Making hip happen.
Making happy happen.
yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been an incredible journey, and we're still, in behind the scenes of the figuring out the delivery for this on a bigger global scale. But we have some great people that are working with us, and so we're really excited about this next evolution. That it really is about evolution as well, and the technology is evolving, cryptocurrency and the blockchain and all these different elements, and we have a weave of this, so it all comes together inside of this alternative world, alternative multiverse, we call it, that you can
Well, yeah.
exist in,
Yeah.
which we are.
We are universal. I mean, it's interesting. And I think that when you tap the market that's out there, I mean, it's not just the techies, but I see, because I deal with techies all the time, I mean, I could see this, it's important to get it out as soon as possible.
We're working it. We're it's time. It feels like it's been time.
When
a
do
couple
you
cycles,
think?
but
When
now
do you think you might be able to do your grand opening here?
if all falls into place and we get the development that we're planning for in the next 30 to 45 days, we should be
okay.
open for like official beta that people can come
Right,
in and still interact. There's an availability, people that are really wanting to be curators and moderators, like right now they can interact with us and start to build content. So there's that part we're doing right now. So that's available. We'd love to share some of your content, some of your best programs could be inside of this.
I've got
and
a
people could
lot.
be weaving together, and you can, it's a whole other way to repurpose any content. Positive content.
Oh,
We
yeah.
got lots of positive content.
Oh my gosh, I have 150.
So we're looking for
152 shows.
There we go.
Okay,
There we go.
great.
I'm just actually putting mine on podcast as well. I keep
Nice.
getting people saying, "Well, do you have a podcast?" So I'm doing that transition. Yeah.
So you can become an avatar. This space right here now becomes a virtual world, and now you're having interviews with people all over the world. Real time. People can be coming in, and you're doing this inside of virtual reality and being in physical at the same time. You can do both, weaving that together.
And it's not Skype.
And it's not Skype.
What was the Zoom? We're using more Zoom now.
Zoom, yeah.
What was the line that we saw on the bus today?
Meet happy,
Meet
period.
happy.
That's their slogan, meet
So
happy.
we're going to approach the Zoom.
Oh, yeah, right,
If anybody
right.
knows anybody
Right.
at Zoom, we're looking now to interact with them because
Yeah.
it's branded. We use them. They're part Skype is kind of not a main thing anymore. It really Zoom
No.
works better. It's a little bit more, reliable, and but they have the brand. Now they're branding it around happiness. So anything
Okay.
having to do with happiness, that you want to bring
Well,
into the
we
future.
need that more than ever right now.
Yeah.
The reinforcement of it, because there's so much fear and anger. I mean, I see it every day behind the wheel.
Oh,
Wow,
guess
there
you
you
do.
Oh
go.
my gosh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And I'm just like, hello, if I can make them laugh. It isn't always easy though.
So what would a hip, happy world be for you in this, making that bridge with technology, and you're here helping people in that way? What would it be for you?
Wow. Well, to me, being hip is just, staying in tune with what's going on in our world, in our society, not just your own little bubble, but what's going on everywhere. That, that's a positive to me, growth.
Nice.
Growth is the most positive hip thing. When it becomes a hip thing to be, like the best person that you can be, and I say spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, all of it, then you're happy, you're free and you're happy. I want to be happy. I know it's not, I don't think it's reality to be happy every single moment of the day. We're human, and we have to feel our feelings, and we just don't want to stay there if they're bad. Just like we had a gentleman that's been involved. He was one of the founders of CMCM here. He just passed away yesterday. And he's been fighting the battle of cancer. In my heart, I just, I feel, I always feel good when somebody does make their transition because they're free and then they can go do what they want to do from their mortal coil. But still, so, peace, harmony, peace and harmony, I think, is when you're happy. And when you can keep your humor when you're being challenged and making fun and having fun, not everything is fun, but, when you're in it, you feel it, you move on so.
You are a hip-hapster then. We're toying with that as a name. We're not sure.
Yeah,
we're not
Hipster.
sure.
Not a hamster. That's the problem with it. There's no hamsters
That's
here.
right.
But a hip-hapster.
I work with a lot of people in groups, bigger groups, and they know when you love them. They know it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's other people who facilitate like I do who you can tell they're not really into hospitality. They didn't get that as part of them, but they're still in front of people.
Yeah.
They're delivering the same content, the same information, and it's the love that
Well,
changes everything.
I think there's been studies done that your heart field goes out like 3 feet. I think that's
It's something
like that. But when you're around a heartfelt person or somebody that's really passionate on what they're doing, you feel it. At least I know I do because I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
But like when I have people get in my car, I sometimes have to protect myself.
That's where the bubble comes in handy.
Yes. And then when they get out, it's like I roll my windows down and I say, "Okay, energy, get out."
Be gone.
Oh gosh. But being hip, I don't have to be hip. It's not like I'm trying to be. I just
Right.
be me.
Exactly.
And I want to stay in tune with, what's going on for the best for humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah, the positive content.
Yeah.
And where do you get it?
Yeah.
That's everybody thinks they're getting the best of, and how do we know what's true and what's not true online? So let's find those people who have really studied and really put it together.
Absolutely.
And showcase them
Yeah. Because the truth always comes out anyway.
eventually.
Yeah, it does. I'm hoping it's a little bit faster in Washington, D.C. But anyway. Happiness is sharing.
We have a scale, a 12-point scale that we've been developing. That'll be part of the analytics and part of the app. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but we broke to 3 main icons within that. And happiness is in the middle. And HipHapi is kind of the top end of this. And not so happy. It's like 3 characters. The not so happy, happy, and HipHapi.
Yeah.
Be happy.
And be happy is
Be
the middle
happy,
one, right?
yeah.
Be
Yeah,
happy
yeah.
is the character. So they're all personified as well. So not so happy is this grumpy guy. Be happy is kind of something in the middle, and HipHapi is get energized.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. So what other ones do you have that you can share besides that happy? I mean, you said you have 12, right?
Well, it's there's like subscales to it. We're not going to give it away right now, but those are the 3 main ones that we're.
Oh, okay.
Because we're doing some analytics behind it of
Yeah.
kind of creating this whole cast of characters that are.
For you to rate yourself, where are you at?
Where am I at right now?
Where are you at on this scale? Again, so you can kind of track track your ups
Well,
and downs through the days.
I know right now I'm always on HipHapi when I have my shows.
All right.
Because it's bringing, information, education, and inspiration to people.
So Dr. Cheryl would be your HipHapi character, and then you would have a Be Happy one.
I can be HipHapi with just Cheryl, I don't have to have the
What I'm saying is
title.
you have different characters.
Yeah.
So this one, this is your persona that you come into as Dr. Cheryl with your show,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah,
then
that's one of them.
you can put energy. So the idea of the analytic engine is that we have different characters within us as well.
Oh, yeah.
So we're breaking it down to 12
Okay.
So you
mean
can-
per person?
per person.
Ooh.
So the avatar is not just an avatar, because it's not true. You have different characters that, that's part of the gestalt of who you are. So now we can use it in virtual reality with avatar technology that you can develop those different parts. And you can see the downside, the not so happy parts, that's real.
Yeah, of course.
And you
it's
need to
human.
acknowledge that, because if you don't, it's going to come back and bite you
hello.
in the butt, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we have to acknowledge those parts and feed the HipHapi parts.
We have little prompts that you're going to be able to set, settings that help you to remind you to breathe, as an example.
Oh, yes. Especially
To-
when you're not so happy.
When you're not so
Exactly.
happy, people aren't breathing, or just to look up because people get slumped down,
Yeah.
or stand up straighter,
Yeah.
or move, or do
Right.
something that
Right.
gives you some more energy. Anything that's going to energize you. So
Yeah.
those will be prompts that can come through, and as part
Well,
of
I'm excited to see it.
It sounds like you can be part of it.
yeah.
Oh, well, why
Cheryl's
not?
gonna live
Yes.
there. HipHapi Dr. Cheryl's going to be
No, I have lots of content. Lots. I've had one, because I focused on, the wealth, money, and, I'm trying to focus not only on money, but the wealth of so many other things,
Right.
the happiness, humor, self-help. Anyway, I've got a whole list. And I had one couple on my show, and it's one of the most perfect examples of really getting beyond what the norm is. They had been married for 14 years. She brought 2 kids into the marriage. They had 2 multi-million-dollar businesses, and they had 3 homes. They lost the multi-million-dollar businesses, and they lost 2 homes. Most couples, because they don't have the skills to get through it, they would divorce or they'd separate or whatever. But this couple turned it around. The Bensons, I had them on my show a while back. They wrote a book called Thriving Through, and they fell in love even more. And to me, that was like such a wonderful
Nice.
example, because the norm out there doesn't do that.
right.
And it takes time and patience and tolerance and
Trust.
patience and patience and
Right.
trust and more
And those were
patience.
people who actually love each other and had already made a commitment. When you look at that, as you take it out of your house into your communities and into your cities and into your, the bigger culture, it gets harder and harder to continue to love each other because the commitment may not be there. So that's part of what we need to do, and make those agreements up front. I'm going to love you. I'm going to
Yeah,
love
exactly.
you and you.
And then honor
every-
it. Honor it.
and act on it. And
Yeah.
even when
But
you
it's
don't
gotta
feel
be,
like
it's
it.
got to be from both, or
Well, you hope it is, but what if it isn't?
Yeah,
Are you
well,
still going to love?
yeah,
Are you
no.
still going to be kind? Are you still going to
Yeah,
tolerate? And all the
yeah,
things that
yeah.
we're promoting in culture these days, that we have to be tolerant of all things, whether we like it or not.
Even Washington, D.C.
Even Washington, D.C.
Oh.
Yeah, even that. So,
I have a hard time with that. It's like the rub is like, oh, the
But how-
sandpaper.
how are you going to behave? That's the only thing you're in control of.
I have a
Everybody's-
hard time even
who?
watching.
And who is the Donald within you,
Oh.
or within me?
Oh,
Boy. Ooh. Ooh.
yeah.
I look at my past and I see a little bit of egocentricity there.
Yep.
I think we all do. We all
I was exposed to him about 27 years ago when I was in Las Vegas. And I thought, this guy, Oh my God. Where did he come from? Anyway, the positive thing about it is that it's waking people up.
Isn't it amazing?
That is why he's there.
Yep.
Is to wake humanity up.
Yep. And not just to wake up, but into action. We need to
Well, I
engage,
keep
we need
reminding
to,
people.
You know?
That now you have this information, now you have to act upon it. I mean, it's a choice. You don't have to, but now we have to take action. Sign petitions, do what you need to
Or
do.
run for office, like actually do it.
Oh,
actually,
believe me, I've thought about it.
actually participate. Or
I'm
support
too
somebody
honest.
else who does it.
I'm too honest. I mean, I would rip them apart in a nice way. I mean, when I went, geoengineering is a serious issue, and it's poisoning us, and it's creating Alzheimer's and autism. 10,000%. It's probably more now that it's gone up in 5 years because of the aluminum in the particulates. So I decided, okay, I'm going to prove this myself. I took my rainwater from Mill Valley. I'm going up Mount Tam. I did it the proper way in a clean glass container. Send it to the lab. Rainwater should be clear, clean, pristine. It came back with aluminum, barium, strontium, and sulfur.
Yeah.
Monsanto, the military government, and I'm sorry for those people out there that like Bill Gates, but Bill Gates owns 550,000 shares of Monsanto. That is evil, just like Monsanto is evil. I mean, what was it, about a month ago, I read where 80,000 Indians in India commit suicide because they knew they were eating GMO seeds. That just makes me want to cry, really, because, they're overpopulated, but still, it doesn't
And
matter.
Fukushima is happening still. I mean,
Yeah,
it hasn't stopped.
I mean,
people, we don't.
And I've witnessed Bill Gates saying, we need to depopulate this planet.
Yeah.
So
That's one of the agendas.
That's
out
one of
there.
the agendas, yeah. And
so what
people,
do you do about it? You grow hemp. That's what you do. That's
Yeah.
how you clean it up.
Yeah.
And then you use it for everything that
Well,
they're
that's
doing
what
with
is
all these chemicals.
slowly happening.
Well,
It is
hopefully
happening.
we can quicken that pace
I
by
know.
talking about it.
Yeah,
and That's
exactly.
the call to action. What can you actually do about it? You can
Right.
grow hemp
Right,
now.
yeah.
That's a big shift that's happening right now.
It is.
It's
I
been
mean-
blocked for so long. Look at that.
Yeah.
That's a
I
really
mean, I see
positive-
these huge ads on buses, all the dispensaries around in San Francisco.
Well, I'm not even talking about that part of it. Just
Yeah,
you want to clean
no.
the soil, you want to clean the air, you want
Absolutely.
to have good
Energies
product
for-
for your body and
So
for
many things.
everything. Grow hemp. Yeah.
It's
I mean,
been
so
around
simple.
since the beginning of time.
Right.
God's gift. you know?
It's a gift,
Yeah.
and we just have
And-
to refocus.
Yeah. So there you go.
These are all issues. So things like
Yeah.
this
Yes.
is what we want to have conversations, deeper, meaningful conversations around every topic that we're hitting on is part of what we are making this environment, this HipHapi environment, to have the real conversations. And then behind it, now we do the gamification where people are playing and connecting and,
Yep.
so you have this project or you want to do this, or you want to run for office, then all of a sudden people are gathering
Or I
and
want you
supporting
to
each
run
other.
for office.
But you know what?
I think we should have a run for office,
I
don't
think
you?
so too.
Which office?
Which office?
I'm not
Which would it
sure,
be?
but
I have been on boards, so but I don't know.
Here's another persona. There's number 2 that we're
That's-
finding
well,
for Dr.
you know
Cheryl.
what?
Now,
It's in my blood because my ancestor actually signed the Constitution on my mom's side, Charles Coatsworth Pinckney.
whoa.
And they came into South Carolina in the 1700s from England.
Interesting.
And the Pinckney name is still revered back there. I've had some people in my car that were from South Carolina, and I said, "Yeah, well, the Pinckney name." Oh my God, you're kidding! Because it's he brought in the first Bible Society in America. He was an educator. He declined to be a general. Washington wanted him to be a general in the army. He declined it. I think it's because he was a humanitarian, And
That's cool.
And it wasn't. I don't know, it was a few years ago. I was at the San Francisco Modern Art Museum, and I was just tooling around and around, and there was a photograph of this mansion on the wall, and I thought, this is interesting. It had been blown up, but you know, the foundation and the sides were still up. I go up to it, and it's the Pinckney Mansion.
Wow.
And it's like, okay, I keep getting
Little
signs.
sign, yeah.
I keep
Okay.
getting signs.
So I'm going to contend that you need to develop one of your characters that we're talking, those 12, is Pinckney.
Well, it's in my blood because
It's in
I'm
your
out
blood,
here
so you
talking
can-
every day.
So you can develop it and evolve that character in your own way. But
I am talking to everybody in my car. I mean, not everybody, because I don't force myself onto people. You know, and if they don't want to talk, I don't talk to
you're
them.
an Uber Pinckney.
Oh, God. Oh, jeez. Oh. No, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that one.
I can't get that close to Uber. I mean,
No.
I'm grateful. I am grateful. And I'm grateful for the transition that's happening. You know, they are trying to make it better for the drivers.
That's cool.
Except that I have been attacked 5 times by taxi drivers.
What
Yeah.
do you mean?
Oh,
They come
oh.
over and they bang on your car?
I was, seriously, I was at the Westin on Post, and I stopped waiting for a client or a passenger and his handicapped wife, and they miscommunicated. So I just stayed there because I figured, you know, then I could know where to go instead of driving around and down, you know, Union Square. And the taxi starts wailing on his horn. He gets out of his car. He's screaming at me, swearing at me. Comes over and he starts to pound on the top of my car. And he goes, "You effing Uber driver."
Oh.
And I was like, I just started driving and it scared the heck out of me. I mean,
That's part of the training.
anyway,
Jeez.
you know, my window was up about 3/4 of the way and all I could say was, F off. You know, but I did get a taser.
Oh my.
Yeah, well, I got to protect myself. You know,
Hear
there's
that?
a lot.
Don't mess with.
There's,
don't
and
mess
then
with Dr. Cheryl.
about four other times, I've had him come and like one guy at the airport just right in front of me, and I had to swerve over in the other lane so I wouldn't hit him. That's violence. I don't like that.
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've had to toughen up. I've definitely had to toughen up.
You're dealing with the public.
Yeah.
Bay Area roadways.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Place to do it. That's really.
No, and
intense.
it's, you know, it's overpopulated.
Yeah.
It's, you know, people are like lost.
Mm-hmm.
I see so many lost souls. It's like they need they need, you know, this reinforcement.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in the Bay Area,
Where?
in Los Gatos.
Oh, okay.
And then I left and I went to Canada. I just recently came back. So I've
Right.
been gone about 35 years outside of here. and
That's
I'm
a
coming
long
back.
time.
It's a long time.
Where in Canada?
in Alberta, Calgary, and
Oh.
Vancouver. So
Oh,
Western
Vancouver.
Canada.
I love Vancouver.
Yeah, it's pretty special. Well, all of Canada has the same number of people of all of California.
I know.
So it's amazing to come back here and have this many people that's so close to each other, and you can see the lost souls, and you can also see those that are saying we've got to raise this up. We have to raise our hearts, our minds, our technology. We have to use this for good. And I'm hearing, yeah, there's a lot of money to be made, but I'm also hearing we're just giving this away now. We're just giving it away because we have to make a better future. We have
Oh
kids
my
at stake
God.
here.
Wanna
We have
survive.
futures
Oh my
at stake here. Our futures, which are our kids and grandkids, right? And I'm hearing it.
That's
So
why-
this is really encouraging on
Yeah,
the one hand, even
yeah.
with all the lost souls that
No,
we
but-
can catch some of them.
I'm just seeing that there are people waking up, and that's the most important thing. In fact, I have a colleague or a friend from through here that I met. She's in Washington D.C. and she just helped push through the first legislature for banning geoengineering.
Good.
Wow, fantastic.
And it's in Rhode Island. So once one state goes, then it'll be easier to get other states. And we were hoping California because California's,
yeah.
but it didn't happen because they're drinking the Kool-Aid and it's money. Thank you, Huffman.
It's a big topic. I mean, we actually went out driving near Watsonville, and there's lots of orchards out there.
Oh,
They're gorgeous. It was absolutely
Of course.
lovely. So
There's so much production of wonderful.
but they also spray the heck out of it, right? And so we went to an open house just to see what kind of house was near these fields. Beautiful. It said this house will never sell because those orchards are right against it, and the people in this house had all died from a disease of some sort.
Like the air with Brockovich thing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it had that's where that was going, and like this piece of property, they might as well just board it up because nobody's ever going to buy it.
Poor real estate agents.
Yeah,
They were
I
like,
was like,
not
oh,
again.
yeah.
You got us.
But you could really see it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what are we doing agriculturally? You know, we're in trouble that way.
The sprays. Ginger is an expert on spraying and GMOs.
Well, we'd love to have her be part of our HipHapi world
She knows
and,
it.
and,
Start a
and talk
conversation
about
there,
it and
yeah.
how do we
Get the information
rectify
out there
things
and-
now? How do we fix it?
Oh, goodness, education.
Exactly.
And
And
how
action.
how do you spend your dollars? That's how we vote, really. With what are we buying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's
What are we saying yes
expensive.
to?
It's and to me it makes me a little frustrated because it shouldn't be so bloody expensive to have to eat pure wonderful food. Except you gotta make your own.
Grow a garden.
Grow your
Grow a
own.
garden. Yeah, absolutely. And hemp. Grow a garden and hemp. Yeah.
Hemp.
Yeah, oof.
Oh, wow. Well, so what else would you like to talk about?
Well, you've mentioned the game a couple times, and we hadn't really discussed what that is as a communication tool and how to communicate. And that's part of our platform is when we're talking to each other and talking about difficult things, challenging things, or even the positive things. How do you do that so that you can have a difficult conversation without being offensive, name-calling, finger-pointing, all the things that we end up doing when we're frustrated and we don't have any outlet for it? We've designed through this game a way of what's the challenge here, as opposed to you're my challenge, the finger pointing thing.
Oh yeah, right.
So
yeah,
how do
that
you?
always puts the defense.
Oh
on.
yeah, no, it
Exactly.
stops all thought at
Absolutely.
that point, and so
You.
yeah, and never me,
Where
right?
sometimes it's three fingers that's pointing
Yeah.
back.
But with the way the challenge is structured, it's a binary system of it's a positive nature of words of wisdom, or there's a challenge, that warning that comes back to you, so that you're kind of more self-aware of what am I saying? Why would I say that to you? Because now it's coming back to me, and in reality, that is how it works. But so everything's long. It's a long play in life. We might say something this decade, and it doesn't boomerang back to us for another decade. But then we realized, oh, I started that back there.
Yeah.
In the game technology, in the game, the rules of the game, how we play, it can come back to you right now. So you get this instantaneous feedback.
Instant karma.
It's instant karma, absolutely. And make you rethink, how am I saying something? Am I saying it with the highest potential?
With an opportunity to reframe it.
And a reframe.
Saying it with love.
Saying it with love, and that I genuinely care about you and what you want for your life, for your loved one's life, for the world, and that I'm here to help you. And that's how we should approach each other here in this setting and out there on the street in our work.
And it isn't always easy with your family members because there's emotion, emotion that pulls, and but it takes practice.
It's training.
That's it.
And it takes practice. I really
Again,
believe
that's the safe
that.
space of the game, is to do that. And it doesn't even, with that, I'm thinking of my own family, there's certain members I've played, and it kind of is explosive as well, could be explosive.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's choosing the moments and, and
That's where
having
the
that
wisdom
understanding.
comes
Wisdom.
in.
Exactly.
There you go.
I have to do that with my brother.
What level are you playing at? People play at different levels. I think that's what I've learned from the game
and when
over
you're not
years.
playing with the same level at the
You just have to
same
be in a
time.
different, exactly.
Well, that comes with agreements, though. I mean, that's all
true.
part of the gamification. Is you start off with agreements that we're agreeing to. This is a safe space, that we do
wanna
care
hear the
about each
agreements?
other. You want to? Yeah, we've got these agreements, and that
I
we
love that.
once we've made the agreement, it stands.
Yes.
I just opened up because we had it open
there
up
we go.
before. This just came up by itself, which is really interesting. So I'm going to just
The relationship.
so what just came up was New Order for the Ages. And the task is you are approved to create a new beginning. What next? So I think our conversation is, I wasn't going for that because I was just
But
opening
see,
it up
Spirit
to,
always worked
it just gave it,
ahead of
it
us.
was there, so
you
there we
know.
go. But what I wanted to do for our way of doing that, of this New Order for the Ages, is inside of the app. This is Xorb, E-X-O-R-B. You can get on the App Store. And these are the agreements for your game. And the object of the game is to actualize your highest potential and then help the other players to realize theirs. That's the stated overarching goal of the game. And then we have 8 core agreements. I am open and authentic as I express myself. I'm genuinely supportive as I listen to others. I am aware the choices I make co-create my future. I view each player in the light of their highest potential. I claim responsibility for my actions and reactions. That's the one that gets people sometimes.
Yeah, the reaction.
I accept challenges as opportunities for growth. I hold in confidence all that is shared by others. And I declare this game a safe space to play. So that's kind of this setting the stage for this environment that we're creating. And
that's a wonderful foundation.
And it's,
thank you.
I've been with this company for 12 years and taken all these principles and applied them to my life and how I deal with people.
Yeah.
And like I said, I deal with a lot of people, and they come with their stories and the things that, tragedies and triumphs that they bring, and it's 9.9% of people appreciate. I don't have to say any of those things. I just demonstrate it by, I actually care about you.
Yeah.
Like, I really do care. I care because you are impacting lots of other people as well. So if I can impart a little bit to you and you take that and give it to another person,
Absolutely.
it's going to spread.
And I can learn who you are inside of me. If we can all do that and own that you're just part of me, and then all of a sudden we all are doing that, this whole world changes. Now we're taking responsibility. It's not just, oh, you're whoever you are.
Or whatever.
Or whatever you are.
I think you are in this moment.
New Order for the Ages.
New order for a new world.
And
A
this
new
is, you
world.
talked about this is kind of an ancient symbol. I mean, it's I know Masonic symbol, but it goes
But it's
back.
on our dollar bill.
It's on our
I
dollar
know,
bill.
I
It is.
know.
You
Well,
know,
that's what's on my books.
And this is the exact
Yeah.
translation of what's on the dollar bill.
Yeah.
So that's our opportunity here in this country as well.
Yeah, that's right.
We're
And
an
we've
ex-
gotten lost on that. You know, it's gotten time to bring it back.
Yeah. A lot of
And
people.
in a better way.
In a
you know,
better
Exactly.
In a better
yeah.
way.
Yeah. It was always like pushed down. Now there's opportunities
Yeah.
coming out,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Well,
No
as
matter,
I
no
said,
matter how crazy it seems, it's coming
no,
out.
I
you know?
still think it's unfortunately has to get a little crazy for people to wake up, you know.
You have to have the experience. That's what
I'm-
I've found.
yeah.
You can read about all kinds
No,
of things in the paper, but
no.
it's not really, it's like
If
people are
you-
starving in another country. We go, oh, that's too bad they're hungry, because I'm not. And that's really how people go along in their life. And then when you don't have any food, or your kid doesn't, or someone you love,
You know,
all of
the
a
other
sudden it's
day-
meaningful.
Yeah.
Just what you're saying. The other day, I had a woman from Venezuela in my car. She told me that her family had to send her brother toilet paper
Oh, yeah.
because he couldn't buy it, because they can only go to the store
Right.
one day a week, because the government is hoarding all the money, and the president's daughter has like $800 million in her bank account. What are they doing? What are
Clearly,
they
you know,
do-
we know
I
what they're
mean,
doing.
Yeah, we know what they're doing,
Seriously.
and
Exactly.
it's
so
unbelievable.
her parents fled, and you know she's been here. She has a good job. She works for BioMarin. I mean, you know, but oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I'm grateful.
Yeah, we would
really
hope
are.
that people don't have to experience
the
those tragedies and those
Yes.
The
kinds of
madness.
the extreme,
madness,
the extreme.
but that you could still have empathy and a solution for it. What can you do? What can you do? And right now, you could probably just go down to the local park and feed the guy who's sitting in the park right now. I mean, you could actually go do that. And those are the kinds of things that we want to impart to people. You really can do something right now.
And make it fun. Wouldn't it
Yeah.
be cool that
Yeah,
that's fun?
I
Instead
know.
of Pokemon Go and people are doing like mindless things, now incentivizing
In
them
a
to do it in
HipHapi
fun, in a
way.
HipHapi way. Getting points, cryptocurrency points for doing good things in the world.
Yeah,
So
no,
that's where we're heading
it's
with it.
so important. I wish we didn't have to live with money. You know, I wish the exchange wasn't just money. You know, I wish it was just bartering and just other ways of doing things.
Well, that's all part of the mix.
Yeah.
It is
You
right
know?
now in my life. You know,
I mean, I do it too, but
It's
I'm on a
interesting
mission.
when you have to give something that you don't want to give, though. I mean, it's interesting. Money is almost easy. You can write a check and it's like, oh, it's easy. But if you actually had to, who gives blood? Who gives a room in their house to somebody who's homeless?
Yeah, I
Who
know.
gives, really gives?
Yeah.
It's a different conversation. And are people really willing to do it? And I'm not sure that everybody really is willing to do it. But can we start with a kind word? When you really
Absolutely.
feel like telling the guy to, you know, take a hike, can you say something else? Because there's
You know,
part of us that doesn't
there-
want to do it, but will you do it?
There's a lot of homeless in San Francisco. And at times, all I have the time to do, because I have people, I just say, bless you, bless you, bless you. I just send blessings out, because I don't know what else to do at that moment, you know.
Sometimes just looking them in the eye
Yeah.
and touching them, you know,
Giving them an
acknowledging
apple
that
or
Well,
they
I'm in my
exist.
car.
Yeah,
but
but just the
I
acknowledgement
know,
that they
I
exist, that you don't
know.
walk by.
Oh,
and-
no, I
But we-
catch people's eyes all the
Yeah,
time.
that's
you know.
important.
We had an experience recently, last year, you know, with Shanti meeting one of these guys and actually taking him in, and he totally transformed. It was unbelievable.
unbelievable.
He was living under a bridge, and now he's finding himself. You know, he was alcoholic and all these challenging things going on, and you know, a different person. So, and seeing that happen with some love, just
You
love
see
being given to him.
love transforms. It's
Unbelievable.
love.
And the interesting thing, he had some medical challenges that he never would have had addressed, considering where he was living. And so he was able to eat good food, which was a bit of a complaint. But then he got some medical attention that he needed, and now he's just like beaming. It's unbelievable. And just it was. Sometimes it
It's
was
so
a little
sad.
irritating to have somebody else in your house. You know, you're like,
But
oh, I
it's
got
so
to.
sad that he, you know, or all of them allow themselves.
But you know what? He had
To
been
get-
living like that for 30 years,
Got
so it
used to it.
wasn't new. It was
Oh
his
my gosh.
lifestyle.
I mean, today I saw a man, and his feet were just totally black.
Yep.
I mean, it makes me want to cry because
Yeah, no, we have a lot.
Go back
a
and
lot
get some
to
shoes.
do. Yeah.
I know. I thought
There's actually
Where-
some
why
shoes in the
did-
parking
We
lot
saw
over
one
there.
downstairs. There's some
Yeah.
shoes sitting there. So you can get some shoes.
Yeah, there's some shoes
like
over
right
there.
down the street here. We took a little
Oh.
walk before. there's
Yeah,
shoes there, so.
yeah.
But, you know,
But so seriously though,
I know.
that could be the
I
thing
know.
right there. Just,
I know.
you know.
but it's the disenfranchised people, and there's there's groups of the people who are coming out of prisons, and people in the
Well,
the psych part
Yeah,
of
and
our
the
world.
physical and the drug.
The drugs, young
Not a
people
lot
who
of PTSD
yeah,
globally. That's
yeah.
also
Yeah.
you know.
And that's one thing I wanted to actually mention about the PTSD and the virtual reality. That's so interesting. People who can't get out of the thought process. Virtual reality takes you into a completely different place. And then when
Right,
you're
right.
back here and you're sitting having this conversation, your brain knows it can actually think a new thing now that it wasn't able to do before. And it creates new pathways of positivity, and that's what we're bringing, is that we want to have positive spaces for people that are uplifting and
Oh,
give you
yeah.
hope.
And thank you
that-
for sharing that,
Yeah,
because that
that's
is
a big
like
one.
a key.
One of the, I've known about the virtual and this 3D world and holographics as the future. A few years ago, when I heard of one of the studies that was being, not studied, they actually, implemented a technology and tested it with veterans. And this guy who had lost his arm for 20 years, he was in phantom pain, burning phantom pain with his arm. They created the program, they put him into virtual reality, he was able to see his hand,
Yep.
put it into snow, and immediately the pain stopped
Pain
after
away.
20 years.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
brain doesn't know the difference, so
Right.
we can use
Oh,
that
sure.
technology in a
Oh,
positive
sure.
way.
We're only
Consider-
using.
Yeah, and they get stuck. We get stuck in little loops. And that's, again, the game, even without the virtual reality, gets you out of that because you have to make associations to things that are random.
That's why I always, when I have a very momentous dream, I wake up, I write it down.
Mhm.
Because it's part of what's going on and the future.
And it's really not so disconnected because we live in this world. This is a dream world as well, just an awake dream world. And that's the point of the game, is that we, how do we deal with the imagery and the, what comes up in our dream world, and we usually forget it. But now we're in this world, and so we can treat it like we're in a dream world and understand the symbols that are happening.
Right.
It's just
Right.
communication from a bigger part of life to us.
And there's probably a lot of mysteries that would be solved.
Absolutely. The big my story is the big mystery.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? We only have a minute and 45 to go, or whatever.
Yes, maybe.
I mean,
Moving target.
that's Brad.
Having fun.
Oh gosh. Well, I so appreciate you being here. This has been. I'm really delighted to see what you're doing, because
you.
it's like now. Just snap and have it happen.
Come and join us in the revolution.
Yay.
It needs to happen now. and-
Yeah.
This is
Oh, I
the
mean-
next space. This is what we'd said earlier, that this is the next space for the human race. This is what
Oh,
we're creating.
absolutely.
This is what we're
The
creating.
next space for the
For the
human
human
race.
race.
I like that.
You
like
like
that
that
one?
one?
I like that.
And I
man.
remembered it too.
The
All
next
right.
space for the human race. Well, it's poetic. It's,
Yeah.
and yet it's hip.
It's hip.
And
It's
it'll
hip to be
create
happy.
Happy.
It's
Yay,
hip to be happy.
yeah,
Let's
it's
make it hip to be happy, not depressed and
No, God, no.
suppressing and
No, no,
depressing
no,
and
no.
all that.
And drugging and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
No,
Now let's open up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you
yes,
so much for
yes.
giving us the space.
Hey, it took a while, didn't it?
It did.
But hey, timing. Everything
Timing.
has its
All in the
time,
perfect time.
It's all good.
So, yay. So where are you off to next?
We have a meeting over in San Francisco with
Oh,
one of
today?
my partners.
Tonight?
Yeah,
Tonight.
Oh,
Is that what
okay.
you meant?
Well, well, that's okay. That's right here. But I
We're-
mean, you'll be going back to
Santa Cruz tonight.
Santa
Yeah.
Cruz tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you made a long journey, and thank you for your journey. Never give up wherever you are, and remember to be positive and loving, first and foremost with your family and friends. Be grateful for your freedom and eat healthy. Be mindful of eating organic and GMO-free. Good nutrition feeds the mind and your body temple. Don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality every day with gratitude. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, stop judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your abundance and wealth with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. You are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes into your mind, by Zig Ziglar. Thank you, Marin TV, for facilitating our show, and especially to my crew, Brad, Eric, and Ginger. Thank you. If you like our show, let us know at #MarinTV or the Facebook page. Please support and become a member of Marin TV.